Hi, I'm Heather, and I'm a mental health therapist and a ritual maker. Mental health, man, feels so important right now as we are in such an unusual and difficult circumstance. And the fact that each of us are facing it to some degree or another is a little wild. And so finding our mental health, being able to restore our mental health is really, really critical right now. And rituals are also really important because they help restore rhythms. And they also give us meaning in the midst of chaos. So it creates a space for us to locate, like, what is happening for me in particular. And as we all know, when there is the sudden shift, the sudden change of our rhythms, when systems that we've relied on are no longer functioning, our world feels very disoriented. And I think with that, we have anxiety, we have fear, we have definitely a lot of stress. And so I want to take some time today to create a ritual with you, helping you restore some rhythm, helping you restore some mental health. So before we begin, I would love for you to grab a few different things so you can pause me after you hear what items they are. So you're going to need a washcloth, some hot water, some dirt, and if you live in an apartment, just grab a little bit of dirt from your potted plant. And if you don't have a potted plant and you don't have a yard, then you can use any item in your kitchen that allows you to kind of make some sign on you. And then some matches. So go grab those before we begin. So as I said, upheaval creates a lot of fear and anxiety. And I'm under the assumption that how each of us approaches this current circumstance, this current crisis, is a direct reflection of our past and how and what was happening for us when there was change, when there was loss or difficulty, and the ways in which we were cared for or not. And particularly, I'm thinking of our formative years, right? There's something of all of those ages are kind of crashing into this moment in time today that speaks to what we experienced in our past. And so we function out of that place. So for example, if we didn't get a lot of care in the midst of upheaval, we might have this profound sense of needing to stockpile, right? This sense of I need to fend for myself. So I'm going to grab everything that I can in order to feel okay because I don't know if there's going to be enough. For others, it's we didn't get the kind of guidance and information that we needed in the midst of upheaval. So whether your parents divorced and there wasn't a lot of conversation, or there was a sudden move and there wasn't a lot of conversation or guidance into how to process and digest the information. And so in that case, we might feel pretty helpless and wondering, what do I do? What do I do? How do I make sense of this? And in that collapse or feel a sense of collapse. And then for others, we could be the really reliable one, in our family, where we were the ones that helped our siblings, helped our parents. We were dependable. And so right now you're feeling a great deal of pressure to be responsible for yourself and those around you, and maybe even more people. And yet that high pressure is so hard on your body and your soul, and you yourself don't get cared for in the midst of that. And so I want you right now to become more attuned to what is the story, what is the age that you feel this most acutely. So it could be when you're 5, 10, 15, 18, but begin to imagine what was it like for you? What's the story that comes up? And I want you to begin to take your close your eyes and be able to kind of capture and call forth that kid that is you. So if you can take a moment and just imagine yourself in that story at that age. And as you're holding them in your mind's eye, I want you to take a deep breath in. And exhale slowly, following your breath, but not losing sight of that kid. You might be feeling some of the anxiety, some of the fear, and make sure that you just continue to allow yourself to breathe. And if it becomes too much, you can step away. But here's where I want you to mark yourself with the dirt. Here's where I want you to be able to say in your story and in your history that this particular moment is really significant and is worth all of your attention. Because the moment that you're in now is being greatly affected by it. So take some dirt, and it can be the place that on your body that you feel a tension, or it could be a metaphor. So for me, it is my eyes that I need to mark, because I have this profound sense of pressure to have to see and to know things as a kid, and yet feeling really confused. And so this current moment for me, I can feel completely hooked on all the news headlines and figuring out everything that is going on. And so I need to return in some ways more to my instinct and more to my intuition. So I'm going to mark my eyes. You might feel ridiculous, and that's part of what ritual invites us into. Is it's not about looking normal, but it's about allowing our bodies and our hearts and souls to be more attuned and more in the rhythm that we're meant to be in. Take a moment and mark yourself, and remember that face, and call upon that face if you need to again. Places for you to tend to, ultimately. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Now, as you stay in this place, I'm going to ask you to ask your imagination, what is it that you need right now? As you see that child or teenager, what is it that they need? And again, it might be that you have something that comes up that is really absurd. And I want to say, let it be absurd, because I think sometimes we don't know exactly what we need. And so it might be surprising. But go back to your mind's eye and imagine yourself in that scene. Imagine your face, and then very, very carefully and very gently ask, what is it that you need? Once you have that, or maybe a fragment of it, it might not be everything that you're needing, but once you have an indication of what you might need for there to be good care, take your match and light it. And this flame is a sign of vitality, a sign of life, that good care is meant for you. Good care for your body, good care for your soul and mind. It is meant for you. And it is within your reach. Light another match. Light one more match. And this is a yes. Let this be your yes to making time in the day to restore the rhythms that are yours and that bring you life and groundedness. So let the heat of that challenge you to come back to yourself every day. And the last thing I want to bring us into is warm water and the washcloth. So you can begin to pour the water over your washcloth. And the place that you marked yourself, I want you to use that washcloth to wipe off the markings. And this is the water cleanses, water kind of makes way for there to be a new experience, right? And water right now is obviously really important for us to stay safe and contained. But I think I want us to be able to think through, like, what does it mean for you to make way, a new experience for you that isn't out of stress or anxiety or fear, but that is out of a place of strength, a place of vulnerability, and a place that allows you to uh, restore your rhythm, allows you to make meaning out of what's happening for you. And then I think ultimately that you can connect to those around you. I hope there was some element that resonated for you that allowed you to become more attuned to yourself, that allowed you to become more attuned to what you really need. So take care of yourself as we continue to brave this kind of wild frontier, and may you show yourself a great deal of love so that you can in turn love those around you. Take care.